Hello, I'm Royce Bair, a semi-retired professional photographer living in the Salt Lake City, Utah area. I say semi-retired because although I'm no longer active in the magazine and illustrative advertising work that I've been doing for 3 decades, I'm still writing and giving presentations around the world. In the past decade, I've been one of the early innovators for a new style of night photography, some called nightscapes or starry night skies with a foreground landscape feature. My unique astro landscapes have received worldwide syndication, and I'm also the author of the book Milky Way Nightscapes. Today, I'm going to talk about some interesting light pollution I found along the Oregon coast. I've titled this presentation Comparing Drone Aircraft Interference with the Disruption from Light Pollution. Last October, my wife and I took a week vacation to the Oregon coast. We flew into Portland, rented a car, and drove due west to the town of Tillamook, famous for its cheese and other dairy products. From Tillamook, we drove further west to the little town of Oceanside, where we stayed for 3 nights in a local bed and breakfast before driving up Highway 101 to the coastal resort town of Cannon Beach. This is the sleepy little coastal town of Oceanside, viewed from my Mavic 2 Pro drone. Here we are looking straight down with my drone on the ocean waves. On some mornings, you have the beach all to yourself and can listen to the music of the ocean waves coming in. Speaking of natural music, on this morning I was leaving the beach. A man walked past me with some expensive noise-canceling headphones. He was completely oblivious to the beautiful sounds around him. Go figure. A few days later, we drove north to Cannon Beach. That's it in the distance. In the foreground on the left is the more secluded Crescent Beach in Ecola State Park, where I'm careful not to fly my drone within its restricted boundaries. At the top right is the famous Haystack Rock at the south end of Cannon Beach. It's the 5th largest sea stack in the world, home to many migratory seabirds like the puffin. Here my drone is hovering just below 400 feet, which is the maximum altitude I'm allowed anywhere in the United States. But on this day, I'm also restricted from being closer than 1/2 mile or 2,640 lateral feet from Haystack Rock, which is there on the right. More about this in a minute. At the moment, I want you to see all the hotels and vacation homes that line the beachfront, many of which are less than 1,000 feet from Haystack Rock. So why am I restricted to 1/2 mile or 2,640 feet from the rock? That's the no drone zone around Haystack Rock. Flying drones near Haystack Rock is against the law. Breaking this law could subject me to up to 1 year of imprisonment and a fine of up to $15,000. Why? Because this rock is a national wildlife refuge and home to migratory seabirds, which are sensitive to low-flying aircraft, such as drones. This raw, unprocessed camera image, I mean that it's not been color corrected. It's a 180-degree panorama night exposure where you can see Haystack Rock on the right with the Milky Way rising above it. To the left of the rock are vacation homes, and to the far left is the glare coming from the unshielded balcony lights of the Hallmark Resort, only 1,000 feet away from the rock. So what does this all have to do with IDA or the International Dark Sky Association? IDA's role has been to educate, not to regulate. However, our informed voices have helped local communities to self-regulate and change local lighting ordinances. It should be obvious that the glare coming from the light pollution near Haystack Rock could be just as disruptive to marine life and migratory seabirds as drone interference is. Scientists have known for years that artificial light can cause birds to wander off course and cause collision deaths. We are now learning that artificial light can also cause them to miss ideal climate conditions for nesting and foraging. We all know that light pollution is increasing exponentially across the Earth. Luckily, there are some dark sky areas left, but those need to be protected. Most people are familiar with the Bortle scale that astronomers use to rate the darkness quality of the night sky and the ability to clearly see the stars. Here's the United States mapped according to the Bortle scale. As we zoom into the Portland, Oregon area, we can see there's probably little hope in reclaiming Portland from light pollution, but there is still hope for the outlying areas. The resort town of Seaside, just above Cannon Beach, already has a bright suburban sky near its center, and Cannon Beach is starting to transition to a suburban sky in its brighter areas. Now back to the actual on-location panorama. Here you can see, it's easier to see the real visual effects of Cannon Beach's light pollution. The only reason that some of the Milky Way stars can be seen behind Haystack Rock is because there is a Bortle Class 1 sky only a few miles away across the ocean just behind the rock. And with a little post-processing photo magic, what little sky to star contrast is left can be increased to add greater clarity. The best thing that can be done in Cannon Beach and similar coastal communities would be to start shielding their lights so they don't affect their neighbors, especially their wild neighbors on the rock. Most of the lighting I saw along the coast was very old style, incandescent, mercury vapor, sodium vapor. The cities and commercial and residential buildings could save thousands by installing new, lower consumption LED lighting. But it needs to be properly designed and with the right color quality. IDA has the best information to guide people in this area for the right solutions that are also economical. In conclusion, I hope that members of IDA in and near the coastal communities will be able to educate people that light pollution can be just as much a problem to their coastal wildlife as unregulated aircraft, maybe even more so. For those wishing to learn more about nightscape photography with a lot of free resources, you can follow my blog at www.milkywaynightscapes.com. Thank you for watching.